for some time, even before
President Donald J. Trump will
really
always be a New Yorker, and New York will always love
your
President Donald.
Guidance, your mentorship in tough times.
President Donald J. Trump will be the first Republican in a generation who will win New York State. It is my honor, as representative for New York's 21st Congressional District, House Republican Conference Chair, on behalf of the 91 New York delegates to the Republican National Convention, we proudly cast all 91 votes for President Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, New York, 91 votes, President Trump. Florida. Florida, 125 delegates.
Madam Secretary, and everybody in this great city, on behalf of our entire family, and on behalf of the 125 delegates in the unbelievable state of Florida, we hereby nominate every single one of them for the greatest president that's ever lived, and that's Donald J. Trump. Hereby declare him the Republican nominee for President of the United States of America.
For the temperature, it is important that we do that, and it is a moment that we come together, and that is what this president is all about, and he wants to continue to work on uniting this country. That's what he wants to focus on.
Follow up on that. Just last week in Michigan, President Biden called Trump a threat to this nation. Should we expect that he will not be calling out Trump with that kind of rhetoric going forward?
So what I will say is that it is important, right? We believe it's important to continue to forcefully speak against any type of political violence. That is what the president believes. And we do not want to politicize this moment. Politicizing this moment is unacceptable. We believe, and the president believes, you heard from him in a very clear statement last night about the importance of uniting this country, the importance of continuing to do so, and that we cannot tear America apart to score political points. We cannot do that. And so we don't want to politicize this moment. We want to unite. We want to continue to focus on that, and that's what the president's going to focus on right now.
So will his messaging change this week?
His messaging is going to be really clear. He's going to continue to engage with the American people. That's what you're going to see in the next upcoming days, upcoming weeks. Nothing different than what he's done in the last almost 4 years, and lay out his agenda, highlight his agenda. There are differences. There are differences in our agenda and what Republicans believe, right? There are differences. And that is okay. And it is okay to speak to someone's record and someone's character. But we cannot accept violence. We cannot accept that. And so the president's going to continue to do that, highlight his agenda. It's important for the American people to hear directly from him what he has done the last 3.5 years and how he sees the future of this country. That will not change.
Speaking of that agenda, the president told a group of Democratic lawmakers on the phone this weekend that he has been working with experts on some Supreme Court reforms that he will be unveiling at some point in the future. Can you tell us anything about those reforms, when he might unveil them, and what he is seeking to achieve?
I appreciate the question. I'm not going to get ahead of the president, so I don't have anything to share at this time.
He also said in his press conference last week that he is looking at rent caps. What can you tell us about his policy when it comes to rent caps?
Again, I'm going to let the president speak to that when the time comes. Thanks, JJ.
To follow up again on the Oval Office address and lowering the temperature, does the president want to see any concrete actions from former President Donald Trump to show that he too is working to lower the temperature?
I'm going to let the former president speak for himself and move forward with how he wants to move forward with his campaign, with how he sees the country, the future of this country. He has to speak to that. I'm not going to get into that from here.
And is there anything else you can tell us about the call between the president and the former president, what the tone was? Did the race come up at all? Did the former president mention anything about politics, or was it just well wishes?
So, look, I'm going to stick to what we have been able to confirm for all of you. Obviously, the president said this as well, that they spoke on the president said this on Sunday. Yesterday, he spoke with Donald Trump on Saturday. He is sincerely grateful that he is doing well and recovering. He had a good and respectful conversation with him, and that the president and the first lady will continue to keep Mr. Trump and his family in their prayers. I just don't have anything else to add. It was a private conversation, but we were able to confirm to all of you what was put out by the campaign.
Was it a matter of minutes, this phone call? How long was it?
So it happened on Saturday. Don't have a timeline for you. It was a respectful call. It was a good conversation, and the president's going to continue, and the first lady is going to continue to send well wishes.
Does the president feel like this effort to get him to step aside is now fizzled out?
We're not going to politicize this moment. We're just not. The president's going to continue doing what he's been doing for the past couple weeks, for the past 3.5 years, which is going out there, engaging, talking directly to the American people about his record, what he's been able to do on behalf of the American people in the past 3.5 years, the economy, healthcare, continue to expand healthcare, continue to make sure that the wealthy corporate and billionaires are paying their fair share, and make sure that we're building an economy from the bottom up, middle out. That is what the president's going to focus on. We're not going to politicize this moment.
Lastly, we saw reports that he had met with Chuck Schumer over the weekend. Is that true? Anything you can say about that?
So what I can say about that is that I think Chuck Schumer put out a note on that. It was a good meeting, like the senator said, and I'm not going to read out beyond that. And the president is looking forward to continuing to work with Leader Schumer, continuing to work with Leader Jeffries, in how we can focus on the American people, do the work that we've been able to do, that historic work, building on unprecedented record. That's the president wants to focus on the American family, the middle class, and that's what I can say about that. Good, Michael. Michael.
Oh, I'm sorry. Senator J.D. Vance, whom Donald Trump has just picked as his running mate, put out a message on social media Saturday, about 2 hours after the shooting, blaming President Biden's rhetoric for the shooting. In fact, he said that rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination. What's your response?
I mean, I've kind of gotten this question in many different ways. I'm not going to politicize this moment. We are not going to politicize this moment. It is wrong to politicize this moment. We have been, very clear on how sick. The president said this word. Saturday's events were sick. It's not acceptable. Political violence is not acceptable. And we have said that over and over and over again. And we will continue to be very clear about this. We need to lower the temperature. That's what we need to do. Lower the temperature. And unite the country. That's what that's the cornerstone of his presidency, is uniting the country. That's what he wants to do.
This assassination attempt happened right after the NATO summit, where the president wants to show the world about the American leadership. Are you concerned this incident may damage America's international image?
Look, it's really repeating what the president said. Now's the time to focus on uniting the country. You heard directly from NATO leaders just last week on how they appreciated and respected the president's leadership, especially over the last 2 years, more than 2 years, as we think about the war in Ukraine because of Russia's aggression, as we see what's happening in the Middle East, and in particular NATO. This is a president that has strengthened NATO and helped to expand NATO. And so that's what you saw from the leaders, that's what you heard from the leaders, and that's what you saw from this president, obviously, in his term here at the White House. We're going to continue to hear directly from the president. We got to lower the temperature. We got to unite the country. That's what the president's going to continue to focus on. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have the tragic events of this weekend shifted the president's sense of urgency or position on gun control legislation? And then secondly, there's been a lot of right-wing chatter about the female agents guarding the former president, specifically whether women are up to the job. People are noting that they're smaller, that they weren't able to cover the president, but I mean, this is a talking point that is circulating. So what's your response?
That's ridiculous. To your second question, obviously, it's ridiculous. No. Not to your question. I understand why you're asking the question. The sentiments coming from that about women and not being able to do the job, that's ridiculous. Just to be really clear about that. And look, you heard from the secretary. These men and women put their lives on the line. What they're doing is brave. And we should not discount that. We should not discount that if it's a man or if it's a woman. And to have that sentiment out there is unfair and it's ridiculous. Now, to step back, there's going to be an independent review here. This is something that the president directed and asked for. We got to get to the bottom of this, of what happened. And American people deserve an answer, and that's what the president wants to see. And so getting into these types of speculation is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, yes. Look, the president has been obviously a strong advocate on gun control. He has been throughout his career as a senator, as vice president, and now as president. As you know, we were able to get a bipartisan legislation done, the first bipartisan legislation to deal with gun control that we hadn't seen in about 30 years. And the president led on that effort and was able to get that done. There's a lot more work that we need to do. That is on Congress. We have to continue to get Congress to ban assault weapons, for example, and to do a lot more. The president has signed more than 24 executive actions because we understand and he knows that guns are an epidemic sadly in our country. It is an epidemic. The #1 killer of our children is guns. And that should not be. That should not be. And so the president's going to continue to be steadfast on this. We have the White House Office for Gun Prevention, which the vice president leads on. That is something that was created here in this White House, never existed before. And that shows the president's commitment on dealing with this epidemic. Okay.
And speaking of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, in the past when there's been mass shootings or casualty incidents with gun violence, they've sent resources and had folks on the ground. Are there any plans to do that for the folks?
So right now, as you know, it's an FBI investigation, so they got to get to the bottom of it and see what occurred and see what happened.
Everywhere in between, I am incredibly excited, honored, and proud to cast all 40 of our votes for the next president of these great United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Mississippi, 40 votes, President Trump. Northern Mariana Islands, 9 delegates.
Half a day, John Tiro, Madam Secretary. I am Irene Hall, and I am the National Committee Woman and Delegation Chair of the Northern Mariana Islands. On behalf of the 9 delegates from my beautiful Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, we are so proud to cast all of our votes for our President,
Donald J. Trump!
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Northern Mariana Islands, 9 votes, President Trump. Wyoming, 29 delegates.
Madam Chairman, I'm Wyoming Secretary of State and Wyoming Delegation Chairman Chuck Ray. The Cowboy State is the energy capital of our country. We supply coal, oil and gas, soda ash, ag products for the entire world. And Wyoming, the Cowboy State, is Trump country. We've supplied the highest margin of victory for President Trump in both 2016 and 2020. And with that, Wyoming, the Cowboy State, casts all of its 29 delegates for President Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Wyoming, 29 votes, President Trump. Maine, 20 delegates.
Hi, my name is Demi Kazunas. I'm a proud Army veteran, a dentist, a daughter of legal immigrants, mother and grandmother, and will be the next U.S. Senator from the great state of Maine. But today, as chair of the Maine delegation, the largest exporter of lobsters and blueberries, also known as vacation land, and we delivered one electoral college vote for President Trump in 16 and 20 out of all of New England. We stand here proudly with my delegation of 20 to cast all of our votes for the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Maine, 20 votes, President Trump. Missouri, 54 delegates.
Madam Secretary, Missouri, the Show Me State, home of the four-time Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Home of the best United States Senators, Josh Hawley and Eric Schmidt. From the great Northwest of the Pony Express to the Lake of the Ozarks, Bass Pro Shop, and St. Louis Arch, the mighty Missouri is casting 54 delegates for our favorite president and the next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Missouri, 54 votes, President Trump. Idaho, 32 delegates.
I'm Dorothy Moon, chairwoman of the Idaho Republican Party, and also the delegate sponsor. I'm excited to have all of the delegates behind us, all 32 votes, to go toward Donald J. Trump. We are the gem state. We are very rural. We have a lot of mountains and rivers, and we also love freedom and liberty. And we love a fighter, and Donald Trump is a proven fighter, and we want him to be our next president with our 32 delegates. We need to be with him. Fight, 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 fight,
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Idaho, 32 votes, President Trump. Illinois, 64 delegates.
Madam Secretary, I'm Congresswoman Mary Miller, and I'm proud to represent Illinois, the land of Lincoln, the first Republican president. And on behalf of parents who are horrified by Joe Biden's attack on parental rights, on behalf of farmers who are being crushed by the Biden economy, on behalf of our daughters who Biden is forcing to compete against men in sports, and on behalf of the victims of the Kamala Harris border crisis, Madam Chairwoman, Illinois proudly casts all 64 votes for President Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Illinois, 64 votes, President Trump. North Dakota, 29 delegates.
Madam Secretary, I'm North Dakota State Auditor Josh Gallion and chair of our delegation. I'm a United States Air Force veteran. I'm here with our chairwoman, Sandy Sanford, and the rest of our delegation. North Dakota, we love our farmers, We love our energy producers. We back the blue. We are very appreciative of our military installations, Minot Air Force Base and Grand Forks Air Force Base. We feed the world, we fuel the world, we defend the world. The great state of North Dakota proudly cast all of its 29 votes for President Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, North Dakota, 29 votes, President Trump. Arizona, 43 delegates.
Arizona needs to secure its southern border to prevent the atrocities that are happening and fix its broken election system. And that's why I, Shelby Bush, the delegation chair, and our wonderful state chairwoman, Gina Swoboda, and this entire delegation cast their 43 delegates to Donald J. Trump!
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and rules and procedures of this convention, Arizona, 43 votes, President Trump. New Jersey, 12 delegates.
Madam Secretary, I'm State Senator Michael Testa from the great state, the Garden State, the state of New Jersey, a state where President Donald J. Trump has invested heavily. And we think and we know that he can win New Jersey this year. Madam Secretary, we should all be thankful right now that we are able to cast our votes for President Donald J. Trump after what took place on Saturday. So the state of New Jersey is extremely proud to cast all of its delegate votes for the 45th and soon to be 47th President of these United States, President Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, New Jersey, 12 votes, President Trump. U.S. Virgin Islands, 4 delegates.
Madam Secretary, as chairman of the United States Virgin Islands, the land of welcoming people, beautiful beaches, tremendous culture, and the best rum in the world, proudly casts its 4 delegates for President Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures, the U.S. Virgin Islands, 4 votes, President Trump. North Carolina. North Carolina, 74 delegates.
Madam Secretary, I am Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, and God willing, I will be the next governor of North Carolina. North Carolina is the Tar Heel state. North Carolina is the home of the longleaf pine, and North Carolina is indeed, woo, the state that is and always will be first in flight. Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the state of North Carolina, I am directed that the state to cast 62 votes for America's Braveheart and the next president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, for president, and 12 votes in accordance with the rules.
North Carolina, 62 votes, President Trump, 12 votes to be cast pursuant to the rules and procedures of this convention. Arkansas, 40 delegates.
Madam Secretary, Chairman Wadley, I am Joseph Wood, Chairman of the Republican Party of Arkansas, the natural state, the land of opportunity, home of the 47th Governor, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Yes. Also home of the National Federation of Republican Women, Julie Harris, Johnny Cash, Al Green, and the Little Rock Nine civil rights movement. We cast our 40 votes to continue the fight and save America with Donald J. Trump. Our votes for Donald J. Trump. Woo big Philippe!
Arkansas, 40 votes, President Trump. Virginia, 48 delegates.
Madam Secretary, on behalf of the great Commonwealth of Virginia, named last week by CNBC as America's top place to do business. Home to 850,000 of the greatest Americans, our military and veteran heroes. Home to Washington, Madison, Monroe, the first governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, the voice of liberty, Patrick Henry, and home to Thomas Jefferson, who penned the most immortal words that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Proudly, as governor of Virginia, along with our great chairman of the Republican Party of Virginia, Rich Anderson, we cast our delegate votes for the next president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and his vice president, J.D. Vance.
Virginia, 42 votes, President Trump. 6 votes to be cast pursuant to the rules and procedures of the convention. Michigan, 55 delegates.
Madam Chairwoman, I rise from the great state of Michigan, where the Republican Party was founded under the Oaks on July 6, 1854, home of the gas-powered automobile, Flint, Vehicle City, Motown, Michigan State University Spartans, the 2023 football national champions, Michigan Wolverines, Cereal City, USA, the Great Lakes State, and sadly, the worst governor in America. We welcome you to the Midwest. The liberal elite call us flyover country. We're proud to be part of the so-called blue wall, and we're going to tear down that wall to once again elect our 45th and 47th president, Donald J. Trump. Michigan's cast our... Trump. All right.
Michigan, 51 votes, President Trump. 4 votes to be cast pursuant to the rules and procedures of the convention. Minnesota, 39 delegates.
Madam Secretary, the great state of Minnesota, the battleground state of Minnesota, which will elect a Republican for president for the first time since 1972 this year. Minnesota, the first state to fight to preserve our nation in 1861. Today, to preserve our nation again, we Minnesotans proudly pledge all 39 of our delegate votes for our next president, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Minnesota, 39 votes, President Trump. Colorado, 37 delegates.
Madam Secretary, on behalf of the Colorado Republican Party and the great state of Colorado, the Centennial State, home of the U.S. Air Force Academy and Space Command, along with the best Rocky Mountain peaks and powder skiing in the world, I have the honor of announcing that our delegation, with unity and purpose, while responding to our president's call to fight, 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 unanimously votes for the 45th and soon-to-be 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and rules and procedures of this convention, Colorado, 37 votes, President Trump. Rhode Island, 19 delegates.
Madam Secretary, the ocean state, where almost 90 years of democratic control has led to the industrial vandalism of our ocean. Wind turbines in our ocean are killing our fishing industry and marine life, which has led to all pain and no gain. We were the first state to declare our independence from Britain and the last state to ratify the Constitution because we believe in states' rights. We are home to the independent man who wonders what happened to that independent freedom of religion spirit that Roger Williams brought into Rhode Island. Let's bring back the spirit and soul of America with patriotism and intelligence rather than blind, ambitious power. Madam Secretary, the great state of Rhode Island proudly casts all 19 votes for Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Rhode Island, 19 votes, President Trump. Pennsylvania, 67 delegates.
Madam Secretary, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and its phenomenal delegation behind me, the birthplace of our nation and Constitution at Independence Hall, proudly cast all of its 67 votes for the bravest man in America, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Pennsylvania, 67 votes, President Trump. South Dakota, 29 delegates.
Madam Secretary, I'm Larry Roden, Lieutenant Governor of the great state of South Dakota. I'm proud to speak on behalf of myself and Governor Noem and our delegation. We represent the freest state in a nation built on the principles of freedom. On behalf of South Dakotans, I wanted to say one thing. President Trump helped bring our fireworks back to our Mount Rushmore. That monument honors 4 of our greatest presidents. And I believe there's room for one more. Just saying. On behalf of South Dakota's 29 delegates, I proudly cast all our votes for President Donald J. Trump.
South Dakota, 28 votes, President Trump. New Mexico, 22 delegates.
Madam Secretary, I'm Jim Townsend, National Committeeman from New Mexico, joined with Tina Zhuk, National Committeewoman from New Mexico, and the delegation from New Mexico. New Mexico is known as the land of enchantment. We remember well when our citizens flourished and jobs were always available. Madam Secretary, we remember when the courts in our country were known for being fair and our borders were secure. Madam Secretary, we also remember who was responsible for that and who worked hard for America. That's why today, New Mexico casts all 22 votes for the next President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, New Mexico, 22 votes, President Trump. Montana, 31 delegates.
Madam Secretary, Montana is big sky country, abundant with God's blessings. Montana is the most patriotic state in the USA. Montana is debt-free and sanctuary city-free. As Secretary of State, along with all the delegates from Montana, we stand with a leader who has reshaped American politics and reinvigorated our spirit as a nation. He delivered on his promises, record job growth, historic tax cuts, securing our border, and protecting our Second Amendment. It is our honor to cast 31 votes for our next president, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Montana, 31 votes, President Trump. South Carolina, 50 delegates.
Madam Secretary, I'm Henry McMaster, proud, happy governor of the state of South Carolina, lucky husband of First Lady Peggy Jean Maccabee McMaster. Great state of South Carolina, the Palmetto State, from the mountains to the sea, where we've been fighting for liberty since 1670, where the Revolutionary War was won, where in 2016 Donald Trump won his first primary victory ever, ushering in the Trump era of American history. The great state of South Carolina proudly casts all 50 of its votes for President Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, South Carolina, 50 votes, President Trump. Vermont, 17 delegates.
Madam Secretary, thank you. My name is Gerald Malloy. I am a proud Vermonter, a Vermont delegate, and a veteran. I am also the Vermont Republican Party nominee for the United States Senate, and I'm the guy that's going to retire Bernie Sanders. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Vermont is the Green Mountain State. It's the 14th star. A long history of leadership and innovation for the United States. Ethan Allen, John Deere, President Calvin Coolidge. Our motto is freedom and unity. Unfortunately, right now, we've got a problem with unity and division in the United States. There's one man that's going to reunite our country and make America great again. It's Donald Trump, 45th and 47th President. Mr. Chairman, the great state of Vermont proudly casts all of its 17 votes for Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Vermont, 17 votes, President Trump. District of Columbia, 19 delegates.
Madam Secretary, on behalf of the District of Columbia, I am directed by that district to cast its 19 votes for president in accordance with the rules.
District of Columbia, 19 votes to be cast pursuant to the rules and procedures of the convention. Thank you, delegates.
Ladies and gentlemen, Speaker Johnson.
All right. The chair is prepared to announce the results.
the following candidate received the following votes: 2,387 votes for President Donald J. Trump. Let's make it official. Accordingly, the chair announces that President Donald J. Trump, having received a majority of the votes entitled to be cast at the convention, has been selected as the Republican Party nominee for President of the United States. The chair is pleased to appoint the following to serve as the escort committee for President Donald J. Trump: Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Tiffany Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Barron Trump. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to introduce the Attorney General, and there goes the teleprompter.
Participating in this historic march. Give yourselves a round of applause. Please, as you exit, grab some water bottles, stay hydrated, stay safe, okay? If you were leading chants, if you had a megaphone, part of the coalition, please bring it over to the stage, okay? Also, if you have any lost items, we have a lost and found by the blue tent, labeled speakers to my right. There are a couple of items. I want to make sure people get home safe, so grab them if you lost them, okay? Thank you all so much, and we'll see you in Chicago!